What's going on, guys? It's Fancy Stock Exchange here, bringing you another episode of our Drafters Best Ball series. Today, I will be attacking the 10th slot in this 12-team PPR Best Ball draft. Again, if you don't know the settings, 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex spot. But with that being said, let's hit the intro.
Are you ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
Just want to make sure you're ready, brother.
Show me the money.
Yo, show me the money!
Okay, so we're about 17 seconds away from our first overall pick. Again, as I've mentioned in multiple episodes, I will let you guys kind of see how the first round fully plays out. And after around that 15th selection, I'm just going to be cutting it up a little bit for you guys. So it's a nice and easy watch for you guys. You guys don't have to watch that 18 pick discrepancy between my second and third pick and so on and so forth. But starting it out, I mean, obvious 101, Kevin Mann takes Christian McCaffrey. Barkley 2, very typical, again, as I mentioned. And this guy should have his player queued, but I don't know what's going on here. Okay. It's probably decided between Zeke and Kamara. Very fair argument this year. They are the unanimous 3 and 4 amongst us at the brand. So Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, typical top 4. I mean, you're not going to see much. We should be seeing guys like Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, and Michael Thomas coming off the board with these next few selections. So looking at this 10th overall selection, obviously I'm assuming my top rating running back at that point, seeing as Cook and Henry will probably go, which Cook does, would be Austin Eckler. So Kenyon Drake actually goes at 7 here. Am I going to have a chance to get Derrick Henry again? If he's gone, I'm going to be looking at, I really want to double dip at the running back position. So if I can get like a Henry and an Eckler, I will be through the moon. I mean, you guys have seen how many times we end up actually pairing those two up in these drafts. But if Henry goes, I'll be thinking about probably Joe Mixon or Josh Jacobs here to pair with, or Miles Sanders, sorry, I didn't even realize. So Joe Mixon goes. I am thinking of, oh no, Derrick Henry's there. Okay, perfect. So I'll be going with Derrick Henry here. Easy selection. 10th pick is insanity for a guy who led the league in rushing and 16 rushing touchdowns last year. I mean, he was phenomenal. We saw what he was able to do as we see Tyreek Hill go off the board with the 11th overall selection. So looking at this next pick again, as I mentioned, it's going to be Austin Eckler unless something crazy happens. If Austin Eckler's taken, I'll look at one of these other backs. I mean, a Josh Jacobs, a Miles Sanders would definitely be a proper selection, especially in the PPR format, especially for Sanders. I do think he's going to get good involvement in that receiving game, but we know here, full PPR, Austin Eckler is going to be an animal as we see Miles Sanders actually go off the board. So, yeah, I mean, my two main picks here are going to be Jacobs or Eckler. Again, if both of those guys are gone, I could think about Aaron Jones. Just feels like a tad early for him, honestly, early second round. But the main selection would most likely be Julio Jones. So Aaron Jones actually goes off the board. So we will be getting one of Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, or Julio Jones guaranteed. So very good spot to be in. So we're just waiting on Bread68 to make this pick. It's most likely going to come down to Eckler or Jacobs for me. Again, we've said it multiple times on this channel. You really want to lock up that running back position early in the drafts. I mean, Julio Jones, we all know he deserves to be a first round overall selection. We get that. But man, the scarcity at the running back position really causes me to... Actually, he goes tight end. So I'll be selecting Austin Eckler here. I mean, you guys know how high I am on him. He is my 7th overall running back. Going to be a PPR monster. So much vacated production. 204 touches left solely by Melvin Gordon in the 12 games that he played. I mean, they did bring in Josh Kelly as a 4th round overall rookie. Still have Justin Jackson there. But the people that are low on Austin Eckler, like RB 13, 14, I do not understand whatsoever. He's got the receiving work. He's going to get an improvement in the rushing work. And in general, yeah, we saw last year 14 carries per game without Melvin Gordon, only 6 per game with Melvin Gordon, and even with 6 per game was still a top 10 running back for you in PPR format. So give me Austin Eckler here. No brainer. I will see you back at my 3rd round selection. Probably going to be taking a receiver there, looking at the value overall. So we're about to be back on the clock here after I went with Austin Eckler at 15th in the second round. We saw Nick Chubb, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Josh Jacobs, George Kittle, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Lamar Jackson, Chris Godwin, Kenny Golladay, Amari Cooper, Patrick Mahomes, Mike Evans, Juju Smith-Schuster, Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Todd Gurley, and James Conner all go off the board. So looking at the board here, I mean, Thielen is definitely my top ranked receiver left. Looking at that, I like that. If Leonard Fournette falls, I may have to honestly take him. Secure my third running back again. I've been vocal that I'm kind of off him. I really love Melvin Gordon. I really do. I think we've gotten him in too many drafts at this point. I just kind of want to mix it up. Again, I have those guys 2 spots apart right now. I have Melvin Gordon as my RB14 in redraft and Leonard Fournette as my RB16. Now, we know the thing with Fournette at this point. I mean, he's not got great upside in my opinion, simply because A, I don't think he's as great of a back, and B, I think his receiving work is going to be cut down a fair bit, but he's still going to be safe in terms of workload, in terms of overall productivity. He offers you a kind of an RB2 type baseline. Again, my RB16, he could sneak into that low end RB1 territory. I'm vocal. I'm not as high on him as a lot of people are. So some people have him as like their RB11, RB12. That's just insanely high to me. But locking up Leonard Fournette here, get a safe RB3, really secure my RB core at this spot. So I really like that. Again, usually I would be going with Melvin Gordon there, but I want to spice it up. You know, we got Melvin Gordon in a couple of these drafters best ball videos. So again, Leonard Fournette here. I mean, this is the proper value, I think, honestly, for him. I've seen him sneak into the late second, early third type area, like the 211 to the 302. That's just too high for me in my opinion, but getting him here as my late third round pick, stacking up my 3-headed attack right there, our running back, and Henry, Eckler, and Fournette. That's definitely a formidable trio to say the least. So I really like how this draft is turning out so far. Now, as we see Melvin Gordon actually go on the turn, that's a really good value for one time there. I would be comfortable taking Melvin Gordon even as early as like the 303, the 302. I think he's really that next guy up after that initial 2 or 3 tier RB stance. But looking at the board here, I think it's clear to me I got to go with a receiver. Lock up one of these guys. Looking at the board, I really like Calvin Ridley, Robert Woods, Terry McLaurin, AJ Brown are probably my next few. DJ Chark. Oh, there's a lot of guys I really like here. But going off the ADP, hopefully I can get like a Terry McLaurin to fall back to me. But looking at the ADP here, you know what? I really want to mix it up and take Chark. But my next highest guy would be Woods. Just give me a second, because this is a really tough choice because these guys are really close to me. I kind of want to mix it up and go with someone that I don't usually go with, but we'll see how it turns out. So looking at 56, we pick at 58. I would take the chance on getting Terry McLaurin. To mix it up, though, I will go with, you know what? I don't think we've gone with DJ Chark much. I'll go with DJ Chark here. Again, he's my wide receiver 17, I believe, on the year. We took him here as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wide receiver 15. So, again, that's just a little bit mixing it up, I would say. I typically would go with Woods there, who's my wide receiver 13. But you know what? I got to spice it up. Jark definitely has some really good upside with Minshew, his second year with Minshew. Obviously, he's going into his third year. But with Chark, I mean, you got the deep ball ability. Again, I really like what he presents, but kind of went a little overboard here. But I will see you going into the 5th round at the 58th overall selection, see who's left. About to be back on the clock here after we selected DJ Chark at 39. We ended up seeing Chris Carson, Calvin Ridley, David Johnson, Mark Andrews, AJ Brown, Robert Woods, Mark Ingram, David Montgomery, T.Y. Hilton, Kyler Murray, Zach Ertz, Metcalf, McLaurin, and Kupp. Swift, Allen, Singletary, and Lockett all go off the board. It's actually it actually does suck because I was looking at Lockett to potentially make it to me. Again, as I mentioned, switching it up, getting a little exposure to more players. But I'm going to go with Devontae Parker here. Again, my next highest rated receiver. Tore it up at the end of last season, the wide receiver 2 on points per game for the last 8 weeks when he played with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I do anticipate Ryan Fitzpatrick to at least start the majority, if not even all of the season, to be quite honest. Again, short off season with COVID, and Tua Tagovailoa is actually coming off injuries in college. I feel like this should be a year where they really rest him, get him ready, get him acclimated to the offense, and not rush him right in. Ryan Fitzpatrick is more than a fine bridge quarterback, and we saw the chemistry that he actually had with Parker. So I'm going to take him before this timer runs out on me, and I'm happy with that selection. I was actually anticipating going Parker and Lockett at that little turn, but as we see, Lockett got sniped before me. Again, other receivers I really wanted to fall were McLaurin, Kupp, Woods, especially even Brown too, one of those guys to really fall to me would have been an incredible value. But ultimately here, I'm happy with Parker making it to me. Very good value overall. Let's just see how the wide receiver landscape looks. So looking at the board here, excuse me, I would honestly say my top guy would be Michael Gallup. Just checking the board, seeing maybe if other guys are lower that I really want later on. Like if I can get Cooks at the next round too, that would be awesome. Like Cooks at like the 6, 7 or the 7 area would have been just unbelievable. But looking at this board here, yeah, it's gonna end up being Gallup if the board falls right. Hopefully he doesn't go in one of these few selections. That'd be pretty annoying. But looking at the running backs here, I mean, obviously you saw the news video we recently had on Raheem Mostert. 60th overall is too early, especially with the uncertainty of where he's going to be playing or his ultimate role on the 49ers given his trade demands. So a little early for him now. Kareem Hunt and Ronald Jones would be my next two, but looking at this, I do have 3 running backs, and this is a three wide receiver start league. So I really want to lock down my third receiver, and then I can consider 2 of them, James White, one of those guys to really make it back to me. So I'll be happy waiting at the position after I take my wide receiver here. So looking at the wide receivers, again, as I mentioned, Michael Gallup, Stephon Diggs, Jarvis Landry, Tyler Boyd. One of those guys would be really fine picks here. I'm just hoping Gallup makes it back to me because he's going criminally underrated in drafts right now. I've mentioned it so many times. I mean, he's basically a lock to improve on his previous season. In his previous season, which was 2019 obviously, basically had him on pace for around 75 catches, 1,250 yards, and I believe it was 6 touchdowns. Don't have it right in front of me right now, but this guy, what a weird stack there. I love Dak and Wilson, obviously, but man, you have one running back on your team and you take 2 quarterbacks before you take your second running back. Don't do that in your drafts, guys. I mean, I get it's best ball. You can hit on guys later on, but man, do not do that. That is just insanity to me. But again, touching upon Gallup, I really think like he's got the potential to be that 1,300, 1,350 yard type receiver. I mean, we really saw last year he really broke out in his second year in Dallas. That team's going to be throwing the ball a lot. I really think they could have even 3 1,000 yard receivers on that team. But don't forget about Michael Gallup. Obviously, I love CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper's one of the best in the league, but Michael Gallup was so good last year, yet people want to just crown him as the third receiver on the team. Like, no, he is going to be, at minimum, the wide receiver 2, possibly 1 for this upcoming season. So I'm super happy getting him here at the 6th round selection. So looking at my team so far, I ended up getting with Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Leonard Fournette, then DJ Chark, Devontae Parker, and Michael Gallup. I just noticed now I have 2 Jaguars, but again, that's fine. That team's going to be good on offense. I mean, as I mentioned, Fournette's more of a safety net, while Chark is more of an upside play. So I really like how this team's turning out so far, and I will see you at my 7th round selection at 82nd overall. So about to be back on the clock here. So as you recently saw, I went with Michael Gallup. I went with Michael Gallup at my 6th round selection. After he went off the board, we saw Marquise Brown, Stephon Diggs, Kareem Hunt, Deshaun Watson, Cam Akers, Will Fuller, Julian Edelman, Darren Waller, J.K. Dobbins, Damian Williams, Brandon Cooks, Christian Kirk, Tyler Boyd, Raheem Mostert, Jarvis Landry, AJ Green, and Tariq Cohen off the board. So I am going to be picking after Tidwell here pick, so he's got 30 seconds about left. And looking at the board here, just to kind of prepare for who I want to select. Obviously, my main target was Brandon Cooks, as I recently mentioned before that little break. But looking here, I mean, there's a lot of receivers kind of in a similar tier for me right now. I do like Mecole Hardman. Maybe I can get him at the 9th round overall selection. Let me just see here. So yeah, I mean, these guys are kind of all grouped together for me. Looking at the running backs here, I wouldn't mind taking, because obviously he'd be my RB4. Mixing it up, I wouldn't mind taking a shot on Darius Geis. Recently wrote about him in the draft guide. You guys will see on July 13th. But basically here, he's got a ton of upside. We all know this. I could take him here again. My ideal spot, if someone's gonna be taking a Darius Geis, would be as their RB4, which he actually would be on this team. I have plenty of stability at the top here. So to mix it up, I'm actually gonna take Darius Geis. I'm happy with that. Again, he's got a lot of risk around him. We all know that at this point. Maybe 7th round in hindsight is a little bit early. But yeah, okay, by the way, come on. Don't be like Bread. You have 1 running back and you take 3 quarterbacks. This is not a super flex, Bread. No. Like, don't do this. This is just hoarding. It's a best ball draft. What are you going to do at other positions? So, yeah, sorry, I lost a little bit. But talking about Geis again, we know the upside. I'd be getting him here to play my flex. I can take a more stable flex later on in the draft. So I'm definitely happy with that. And with my next selection, I'm thinking about honestly taking Hayden Hurst if he falls to me. If Hayden Hurst falls to me here, that is a slam dunk. I mean, he is going to be phenomenal this year. If Hayden Hurst is gone, I'm most likely going to be taking like a Matt Ryan. I really do think that Matt Ryan presents plenty of value in this year's draft. Fantasy draft. I think I have him currently as my quarterback 8. So, really like that, unless freaking Bread takes him, because, Bread just loves his quarterbacks. What a joke. But, yeah, so my order here would be Hayden Hurst and then Matt Ryan. So, we'll see how the board shapes out. Again, so far, just talking to the podcast listeners right now, just so far on the team, we have Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Leonard Fournette. Stock up the 3 wide receivers in DJ Chark, Devontae Parker, and Michael Gallup. And then I ended up taking a little bit of a risky selection in the 7th round. But, man, the upside that Darius Geis can possess, I mean, we all know the narrative by now. He's only played in 5 of a possible 32 career games. By the way, one of my later targets, McCall Hardman, just got taken. He's only played in 5 out of 32 games, but when he's been healthy, he's been very efficient. We just need to see the workload really come for him, but I definitely like the value that he has. So I'm going to take Hayden Hurst. Like I said, I mean, he's my tight end 6 right now, especially in a full PPR. I really think he's going to get a ton of targets on Atlanta, 258 vacated targets for that team. And in general, I mean, I've said it so many times, but he profiles as a more athletic version of Austin Hooper. What did Austin Hooper do for the team last year? Oh, he was only tight end 1 for the first 8 weeks of the season. Yeah, it's a slam dunk for me. He's my tight end 6. Take him here. Happy with that. But yeah, I will see you guys at my 9th round, 106th overall selection. About to be back on the clock here after I went with Hayden Hurst from the Atlanta Falcons, tight end. We saw Sterling Shepard, James White, Marvin Jones, Deontay Johnson, Tevin Coleman, CeeDee Lamb, my boy, Alex Madison, Jordan Howard, Tyler Higbee, Latavius Murray, Sony Michel, Deebo Samuel, Matt Breida, Marlon Mack, and Jalen Reagor go off the board. So we are 3 picks away from my 9th round selection at 106. Waiting on 3 picks again, as I mentioned. 15 seconds left if you're listening to this right now for Prime Timon, I guess, I don't know, to make his pick. So looking at the board here again, I mentioned Matt Ryan would really be a nice quarterback option to take here. I really like Matt Ryan here. I like Tom Brady. Very, very high upside with those 2 selections. But Matt Ryan is my preferred option here if I can get him, which he actually goes with. Unfortunately, the 104th overall selection. I'd be looking at Tom Brady. Maybe I can get him at the 111 here. But looking on the board here, running back's a little thin. I could take a couple options later as a little depth. But again, I really like my four running backs I have right now. Looking at the receivers, who's the best value here? I don't mind taking Perriman later on, though he's kind of he's okay on my wide receiver 4. I don't know. Pittman, Ruggs are really good values. In a best ball, I really would consider Ruggs here. But I can't get him at the 10th round, I think. So I'm going to take, see, this guy, Bread, could always just take another quarterback, which kind of gets me scared. I don't know why he's doing this. Don't be this guy. What a douche. Like, he's got 1 running back, 9 rounds in. Good luck fucking winning. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Brady. I really think he's got tremendous upside this year with the Buccaneers offense. Again, Bush is going to really hear this and love what I'm saying. But, yeah, I'm going to snag Tom Brady here. Make sure that he makes it. I'm not taking the chance on him. Making it back to me. So I go with Tom Brady, currently my 9th rated quarterback on the season. So Brett didn't go with the quarterback. That's surprising. Had to make sure I snagged my guy. So, yeah. Looking at the board here, going to be my wide receiver 4. I do like Jerry Jeudy. I think he's a good value here. I mentioned the other 2 receivers. Hopefully Jeudy can make it back to me. Now I'm kind of scared that I took the quarterback because I didn't realize Jeudy was actually there. But I do like Jeudy. I do like Ruggs. I do like Pittman. Just got to see the value overall that falls. Maybe I could even stock up a second tight end, but I mean, I do think Jonnu could make it back to me. If Jonnu makes it back to me, that's a surefire pick. Do like Blake Jarwin, Mike Gesicki, a couple of these other options here on the board. I'm just gonna snag Jerry Jeudy if he makes it there. Though he one time took a rookie receiver, so I wouldn't be surprised if he doubled down on that because yeah, it could very well happen. That kind of makes me a little scared here. If you're listening on podcast, we are 2 picks away, so I'm at the 111. The 109 is currently on the clock here, just waiting for him to pick. But yeah, as I mentioned, Jerry Jeudy is going to be the pick here as long as he makes it back to me. Volume should be there, as we've seen Carson Wentz quickly going off the board. 1 pick away. Let's go. All right, Jerry Jeudy made it back to me. That is going to be the pick. Again, we've mentioned how dynamic we think the Broncos offense could be. Plenty of weapons, but Jerry Jeudy is that typical slot machine. He's going to figure in, potentially take up the Emmanuel Sanders role that we saw for the Broncos for many years. Automatic slot option. He's quick, great route runner. Great, you know what? That's all I really have to say about him. He's quick and a great route runner, and they wouldn't have used the 15th overall selection on him if they didn't plan to figure him into the offense right away. So, Jerry Jeudy, my wide receiver 4, happy with that, but I will see you back at my 11th round selection, see who's on the board. So we're about to be back on the clock here after we selected Jerry Jeudy in the 10th round. We saw Sammy Watkins, Drew Brees, Jared Cook, Mike Williams, Keyshawn Vaughn, Anthony Miller, Austin Hooper, N'Keal Harry, Emmanuel Sanders, Noah Fant, Deshaun Jackson, Philip Lindsay, Zach Moss, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, and Mike Gesicki go off the board. So we are currently 1 pick away at 130. The next pick is going to be number 129. So looking at the board here, as he actually selects Cam Newton. So looking at the board here, definitely would have been a good selection, but quarterback's a little thin, I would say. I can just get a guy like Gardner Minshew later on and be very happy with that. As you guys have seen multiple times on this channel, I'm very high on Gardner Minshew. He's currently my QB 14, I believe, in redraft. Definitely a lot higher than consensus has him. Volume's going to be there, would complement a nice stack with DJ Chark there. But looking at the board here, Jonnu Smith is going to be my selection. Again, super high upside tight end here. 2 of my favorite sleeper tight ends of the year are actually Hayden Hurst and Jonnu Smith. Again, he should figure in to be that second option in the receiving game in the Titans offense. Obviously, we know A.J. Brown is going to be number 1, but man, when you look at Jonnu Smith, the profile, the production in the fantasy playoffs last year, he has all the traits to really be the breakout tight end of this year and the opportunity. So I'll select him. Again, as I mentioned before, he is actually in a recent ADP Battles draft. I know I mentioned that a lot of times during these recordings, but just goes to show if you want more information on that, it will be on this channel. You can go down below. It will be the video with Jonnu Smith and Austin Eckler versus Nick Chubb, and Jonnu Smith versus, who was it? Jonnu Smith versus, okay, give me a second now. Who was it? Who was it that I compared Jonnu to? I don't know. You guys will figure it out. Just look below. But, TJ Hawkinson. So, Jonnu Smith versus TJ Hawkinson and Nick Chubb versus Austin Eckler. So, it'll be on that video. Me and FF Mikey 10 basically went through it all. Why Jonnu Smith is one of the biggest breakouts at the tight end position this year. And as I've mentioned multiple times, as Corey actually researched, the benefit of having a breakout tight end on your roster is tremendous in fantasy football. Again, over 50% of teams with a value at the tight end actually made the playoffs, which is just insane, more than any other position. So, very good values there. So going down the board here, I'm looking at the wide receiver position. I'm going to be selecting, is Henry Ruggs still available? In a best ball format, I really like the value that Henry Ruggs brings. I also really like Michael Pittman as well. But Henry Ruggs, we mentioned him multiple times on this channel. He may not be the most consistent wide receiver this year. We understand that. But man, when it comes to Ruggs, he's explosive. He's talented. He's not only just a deep threat. He could play 3 levels as a wide receiver. He's complete. Great hands, great breakaway ability, can catch a slant, turn it for a touchdown. He may not be, again, as I mentioned, very consistent in his rookie year, but he's going to have games that legitimately win you the week. So getting him here in the 12th round as my wide receiver 5, I believe, is tremendous value for a guy that explosive. First round, 12th overall selection this year. John Gruden saw firsthand what Tyreek Hill was able to do in that division for the Chiefs. So I'm sure he envisions Henry Ruggs to be that kind of piece for them. So very happy with getting him here. First receiver selected off the board. Let's get it. So again, as I mentioned, I will see you back at the 13th round, 154th overall selection. So we are about to be back on the clock here, and after we selected Henry Ruggs, we saw Preston Williams, Blake Jarwin, Ben Roethlisberger, TJ Hawkinson, Tony Pollard, Chase Edmonds, Alshon Jeffrey, Brendan Ayuk, Boston Scott, Baker Mayfield, Prashad Perriman, Devontae Freeman, Jared Goff, Antonio Brown, Carlos Hyde, Michael Pittman, Ian Thomas, and Jack Doyle all go off the board before our selection. So looking at the board here, I mean, there's definitely some tight ends I can get later on, like an Njoku or an Irv or something. Nothing that I would consider now, but looking at the receivers, some decent names. I mean, a lot of like Visca Chenault would be perfect if I can get him with the next pick. But running back's probably where I'm going to be going. Get a little depth piece. Man, it's kind of dry. Maybe like an Anthony McFarland, Chris Thompson. I'm just going to take my QB2 here, to be honest, and then reevaluate on the turn. But I'm going to go Gardner Minshew. I was recently mentioning how much higher I am on him than consensus. I mean, QB 14 for me, it's really a no-brainer. That offense is going to throw the ball a ton. They got, as I mentioned, I'm going to get Visca Chenault hopefully later. They got Visca. They got DJ Chark, who's actually another guy on my team. Man, I'm just building the whole Jaguars offense apparently. Damn, Minshew, Chark, Fournette, I might get Visca as well. But touching upon Minshew, I mean, the upside is tremendous. People want to just basically write him off because they believe that the Jaguars are going to suck and that they have a chance at one of the quarterbacks next year. But in terms of redraft especially, I really do think Gardner Minshew can shine. So looking at the board here, I mentioned the running backs. Not really much going on here that really intrigues me. I do like Anthony McFarland, but I think he can make it back to me. Could always get Rock Armstead to really cuff up my my Fournette. But nothing here too intriguing. Maybe, yeah, that's rough. Looking at the receivers, though, there is a lot more names I would feel more comfortable with. As I mentioned, though, Visca Chenault really leads that charge, unless I see anybody quick. No, it's going to be Laviska Shenault. Again, he will figure in as that wide receiver 2 on the Jaguars right away. We saw what he's able to do. Very good after the catch. Can definitely make plays. He's a playmaker in space. Makes people miss. Can run people over. Was their second round selection. The only reason he even fell to that point, to be honest, was because of injury concerns at the combine. Really getting him here. Really loving how the team is looking. Kind of a weird setup in this best ball, but I guess all the values following to me have been Jacksonville Jaguars, so snag him up. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how many Jaguars I actually have on this team. I guess I'm a Jaguars fan now. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, the value just hasn't been there at the running back position. Hopefully I can get Anthony McFarland at the next selection, but they are dying down. Yeah, like Anthony McFarland, Duke Johnson would probably be my next 2 that I would look to. Gio Bernard, I wouldn't mind later on as a PPR type option. Antonio Gibson would actually be a really nice pick at the 15th round as well. So I definitely like how it's looking here. Antonio Gibson, especially because I do have Darius Geis, would be a nice pick. As we've seen, as I mentioned, Darius Geis isn't necessarily the safest running back there is. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take a tight end. It's not going to happen yet. Though I do like Njoku as a sneaky later pick if he does fall to that range. Quarterbacks here, I mean, I have 2 really good quarterbacks, but I wouldn't even mind taking like a Cousins, taking a Carr. One of those guys wouldn't be bad. Tannehill was another guy I really liked, but I just assumed he would be gone. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'll see you at the 15th pick because as we see Antonio Gibson go off, I want to make this a little easier for you guys to watch. So we are about to be back on the clock here. After we selected Laviska Shenault, we saw Phillip Rivers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Tannehill, Antonio Gibson, a real target of my mind. A target of mine. Drew Lock, Eric Ebron, Jamal Williams, Darrell Henderson, Darrington Evans, Hunter Renfrow, Anthony McFarland, ouch, Kirk Cousins, Irv Smith, sorry. Duke Johnson, another ouch. Derek Carr, AJ Dillon, Justin Jackson, and Chris Herndon all come off the board. So as I said, those ouches, man, all the running backs I was basically targeting came off the board. Maybe I can go with I don't like it, Nyheim Hines, but I mean they've been talking him a lot as a pass catcher. Maybe it happens. I don't know. Take him here in the 15th round isn't whatever. Give me a little RB depth. I don't care. Not overly thrilled with that selection, but we did need a 5th running back, and yeah, the board kind of fell weird to us, unfortunately. But looking at the board here, I can take my 6th later on, but wide receivers are still good options. I mean, a couple of guys there that are looking decent, like Steven Sims, probably my favorite. I like Russell Gage, Denzel Mims, obviously high upside as a rookie. Is Brashad Perriman gone? Okay, he went a while ago. Okay, perfect. I was gonna like freak out. I was gonna be doing my happy dance if he made it there. But looking at the quarterbacks here, as I mentioned, a lot of them came off the board. That's unfortunate. I mean, I do think Ryan Fitzpatrick plays the majority of the season, so if I can get him here, I wouldn't be too mad with that. I also do like Sam Darnold at this point. Getting him as my quarterback 3 would probably be ideal, but you see the tight end position. Yeah, I can get my top guy here, probably in Njoku and Knox later on. There's a couple of good sleepers that I would be targeting, but I'm going to select Sam Darnold just because I know he's going to play the full season. If I knew Fitzpatrick would play the full season, he would be the pick. But going with Darnold, going to play the full season most likely. Build off what was kind of struggle last year, especially with the mono that happened early in the season. But lock him up here, my quarterback 3. I am fine with that. So we will see you back at my 17th round selection at the 202. So. Be back in a second. So after I selected Sam Darnold in the 16th round, we ended up seeing Jameis Winston, James Washington, Jerick McKinnon, guy I was considering here, Denzel Mims, Jay Sternberger, Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Rudolph, Malcolm Brown, T. Higgins, Tua, Raquel Armstead, Cole Beasley, Steven Sims, Nick Foles, Chris Conley, I think that's Larry Fitzgerald, Russell Gage, and Mohamed Sanu all come off the board. So very interesting spot here. Let me check the running backs quick. Anybody worth a pick? This is rough, dude. Damn. Yeah, let's just take Matt Forte. Come on. I don't mind Randall Cobb. I think he's got decent potential. Let me just take a quick look before this timer runs out. If there's anybody here intriguing. Otherwise, I'll just go with Randall Cobb. Where's Cobb? I'm going to take Cobb. Again, new offense. He signed for a significant amount in free agency. I think he can provide some decent potential there. 17th round, I don't mind taking that shot on a guy like Randall Cobb. So, again, another 4 picks before we select at the 207. Looking at the board here, it's clear to me I'm going to go with one of these 3 tight ends, Howard, Njoku, or Knox. I'm really a fan of what David Njoku's potential is. Again, we've mentioned it multiple times. The Browns are going to be running, not exclusively, but they're going to be running a lot of 12 personnel this year. As we saw with Kevin Stefanski's tendencies in Minnesota, we saw how the work was split up between Irv Smith Jr. and Kyle Rudolph last year. I do think that David Njoku's got a lot of potential playing as the tight end 2 to Austin Hooper's 1 in Cleveland. And he's still always got the potential to be traded to a team where he could be the starting tight end. And if you're getting a starting tight end, especially one as talented as Njoku in the 17th round, I mean, that's just a very good value. Or sorry, 18th round. That's just a very good value. So fingers crossed. I'm really hoping he falls back to me here. He's going to be the instant selection, and it's really not going to be close for me if he's there. So we saw O.J. Howard. Okay, that was another one. Phew. Thank goodness that was not Dawson Knox. David Njoku, sorry. So 2 picks remaining, 205, 206. We pick at the 207. Hopefully he can make it back to us. I'll be very happy if that happened. But we'll see what happens here for one time on the clock. Come on, make your pick. You just made your Howard pick. Like, why don't you have 2 queued? You know what I mean? You don't have to explain your picks to a video like I am, but whatever. We see Corey Davis go off the board. Breads is back out on the clock. This guy has 1 running back. What is Breads? What? Why? You have 2 running backs. Your RB2 is Royce Freeman. Don't be like this, guys. What is he doing? Oh, that's not my issue. David Njoku, tight end from the Cleveland Browns. I really like that value here at the 18th round. Super satisfied. I will see you back at the 19th. So we're about to be back on the clock here after I selected David Njoku. We saw Dawson Knox, Adrian Peterson, Gerald Everett, Greg Olsen, Jalen Hurd, Damian Harris, Traquan Smith, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Justice Hill, Taylor Gabriel, Devin Funchess, Mitch Trubisky, Marcus Mariota, Josh Reynolds, Danny Amendola, Josh Kelly, Benny Snell, and Giovanni Bernard all go off the board. So looking here, maybe we could take a little depth back. I mean, Penny would be a decent little upside shot. I mean, he was so good when healthy last year. Very efficient back. He's going to miss the first 8 games or so of the season. He's on the PUP list, but take him in here. I mean, you can't go wrong in the 19th round. Taking a guy with the amount of talent and upside we saw with Rashad Penny last year. So very happy with him. Looking at my last selection, man, this is kind of rough. Any wide receivers here? Is Russell Gage still available? Nope. This is a weird spot. A tight end. I don't mind Tyler Eifert, but then again, I don't want to take another Jaguars player. Tyler Eifert would be the only one even worth it. Chris Thompson's already selected. This is a rough spot here. No starting quarterbacks left. Actually, Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback, so he's decently interesting. Could take a Lynn Bowden. Maybe he gets a little receiving work. 3rd round selection this year. He looks like he's going to be the pick unless anybody last second stands out to me. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Lynn Bowden again. As I mentioned, he showed a lot of potential this past college season. 3rd round pick for a reason. Very versatile player, can catch the ball, run it. I mean, very good depth piece to here, especially in the 20th round. I mean, this is a crapshoot at this point. Taking a guy with that much talent is definitely worth it. So I'm gonna select him here. Happy with that. But yeah, that will conclude my draft. Again, as you're hearing this, I will show the team on the screen like following this segment, but briefly going over the team again, you guys will see the overall snapshot of what happened. But I ended up going with Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Leonard Fournette, DJ Chark, Devontae Parker, Michael Gallup, Darius Geis, Hayden Hurst, Tom Brady, Jerry Jeudy, Jonnu Smith, Henry Ruggs, Gardner Minshew, Visca Chenault, Nyheim Hines, Sam Darnold, Randall Cobb, David Njoku, Rashad Penny, and Lynn Bowden to cap out the team. But thanks for you guys for watching this. If you haven't already, go like down below, comment on the video, tell me what you liked about the team, what you didn't like about the team, what you would have done differently, and make sure you go hit that subscribe button. Because again, on the Fantasy Stock Exchange, we are coming at you with that beautiful daily content that you guys will enjoy. So make sure you don't miss a video. Turn those notifications on. Again, we try to bring you guys as much value as possible, and if you haven't already, it will be linked in the description of this video. Go make sure you cop our draft guide. Releases on July 13th, so I believe you guys will be seeing this on the 14th, so it would be a day out by the time. Make sure you get that. Tons of value packed into that guide. We've worked these past few months making sure we get to you as much information as possible. Very cheap to acquire this year. We're just trying to get you guys respecting, valuing the overall content that we're putting into that. Not asking for a big financial commitment, so make sure you go consider that. And if you do, you will get exclusive Discord rights to our private Discord. We have our public that you guys feel free to join at any time, but we will also have a private draft guide Discord as well. And not to mention, I mean, those weekly Zoom calls are going to really help you attack your drafts, attack your season, set your lineups, everything. So make sure you go do that. But with that being said, we'll wrap it up here. So peace out.